fact, there was another interesting meme that went on to say that, you know, some papers, some course units you do here in campus may make you doubt your intelligence. Then someone was like, forget that, your existence. So now, wow, after all this, we've told you what echo chambers are, we've talked about filter bubbles, we've talked about making the algorithm as it is. Now we're thinking about how it can work for you as a person, you know? So when we look at all this information, why do you actually need it? It's because we are in an era where you need to be more active about what happens to you. Because the truth is, you can be overcome. If you stand for nothing, you fall for anything, you'll just be blown by what all these things have.
Sweet.
Really, it will be sad. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about, probably, as you navigate these filter bubbles and echo chambers and the internet as it is, there's one fact for sure: the internet isn't going away. This business of, you know, when our parents were young, it wasn't there, and they were probably more responsible. All those things can be whatever. All those things can be debated upon all day. But what we are certain of is that the future is with a more dominant internet. The metaverse is coming, where people will just be
metaverse
inside the internet. Like, imagine yourself inside. Like,
I watched a video where someone was in the metaverse and they were doing shopping, and it was like almost realistic.
My God.
Where we are headed, guys? Where we are headed?
So ideally, as human beings, as each individual, much as there are the conspiracy theories about how, you know, all these things affect us. Some people can say, you know, they are tracking you specifically, and sometimes you're wondering, but honestly, one out of 7 billion people.
Why me?
Why me? But of course, I think they use general data. Like, what you give them is piled into a certain set of things, then it goes into other mathematical things, and then they eventually bring to you something. But I think there's a time coming where things will be 100% specifically tailored for you. Actually, there's a show called All Hail the Algorithm that was on Al Jazeera. A lady did, I think it was a 4-part series, and she was generally talking about how, yeah, it's affecting our lives, how it's more, it happens more than we realize it. And actually, one thing she said is that there can be a point in time in the future where you're so personalized with your phone. It showed a lady moving around, and then the phone asked her, are you feeling well? Somehow it had access to her biometrics. And then it's like, okay, yeah, I've been having a bit of a headache. Then it's like, did you take the pregnancy test? Then like, but first of all, why would you think that? Then probably somehow it tells you that you're pregnant. Then it's the next message it sends you. Does he know? So you're like, yeah! Because you also become very personal with your phone.
Wow.
So now, and also we've had stories. Trevor Noah once shared on his show, The Daily Show, that there were certain times that some of his videos, like pieces of them, were taken. He said he made a certain statement, and in one context that supported a certain political area, it went to that group, and another one it went to that one. So at a certain point, like each of them, like they got the part that was either against them or for them. So they're all thinking, what's this guy saying? And but it was taken out of context. So we see all this. Now we have to think, since the internet is here to stay, honestly, shouldn't we be intentional about what we are doing? What we are doing, there are two things we need to be intentional about: what we post and whom we follow. How useful have you found being intentional? Because I see you're doing a lot of your career things there. How useful have you found being intentional in what you post and whom you follow?
Well, first of all, being intentional is key, because as you said earlier, if you stand for nothing, then you can easily be swayed away anyhow. So when I'm posting if I'm posting anything, any sort of content, I do a lot of tagging. We talked about that in the previous video. And the people I tag most times are people who I follow and people who I know are going to be interested in that content and will help me improve on that content. So if I'm talking about social media, I'm definitely going to tag some of those celebrities who are interested in social media, or media houses interested in social media, or even influencers. Like if you're going to post this specific YouTube channel, YouTube video, I'm going to tag people who are influencers, people interested in content creation, because this is something that is going to help them improve on themselves. So I normally follow people who I know are going to be interested in my content and tag them to any specific content I post. Yeah.
So wow, that's intense. Being intentional, deciding exactly. You need to actually decide whom you're going to follow.
Yeah,
what you're going to post, because of course.
Because then again, it could be pointless for you to follow some people who are not interested, in what you do, and in any way going to help you out in what you're going to do. So follow people who are going to actually be interested.
And sometimes also whom you're also going to be interested in. Because people cannot be talking about one person, and by peer influence you go and follow, and then honestly you also don't find something that is in sync with you. Some things that even whatever that violate your principles, and you're like, honestly, what am I doing here?
There's people who I unfollow. You follow because maybe your friend says this guy is cool, so you follow, but then with time looking at their content, you're like, not for me. Unfollow.
I get you.
Yeah.
So one time, I think I told you this. One time while we were texting, that I saw the algorithm was working. Since I follow Gary V, I follow Grant Cardone. One time I was watching a video of Stephen Bartlett, this guy in the UK who is a young millionaire, and he let's say. He has a podcast on the Diary of a CEO. So interestingly enough, one time somebody recommended his content to me after seeing what I was doing. They recommended his content. Intentional. Now, as I was going through his videos, I find somebody else whom I follow, Aaron, Mr. Who's the Boss. Of course, for him, I don't follow him because of my little brother is the one now who showed me Aaron, because he does phone reviews. Me, I'm not into that stuff, but he also did something on this the entire internet and how it's affecting us, social media, how the metaverse is going to affect us, Bitcoin. Those are his videos that I really am interested in. So he was doing an interview with him, and then as they were talking through the entire thing, they talked about the hot ones, and I follow the hot ones, the one where they do hot sources increasing, where they're interviewing celebrities. And also what I love about the hot ones is it's not an interview of how was the breakup with this person, the fight with this one,
the beef you have.
They actually show the humanity of these celebrities. Then they talk about somebody who has a hobby in fishing, somebody's first one of their first interviews in their acting career, how it went those times when they felt like things wouldn't all go well. Like, it really brings out the humanity, and I'm like, how would the internet know that I am not interested in gossip, but I'm interested in this? So somehow you see that as you're intentional, you see the feedback coming back. Yeah, and you see that actually some of these people, you find them interviewing each other. Grant Cardone, you find him with Gary V, you find him, there's a new guy I now follow called Ed.
You find Hannah interviewing Sam.
Just like that, build our circle as us, we can connect with another circle that thinks like us. Yeah. So it's very important to be intentional, because yes, all these phenomena are not going to go away. The echo chamber, filter bubble, internet, ABCD, right? Now, much as we know that the internet is not going to go away, ideally, we also need to have a sense of where we step out of the influence of the internet. And that can be very difficult, because in this day and era, there's been a recent, I don't know if you've seen these recent tweets where they're talking about how we're not investing enough in our adult friendships.
I'm not seeing that one. We're not investing enough in our adult friendships. What are we investing in?
Like, ideally, when we're in school, when we're in university, we can meet up sometimes, things like that. But once it comes to adult friendships, I'm busy, those things.
Actually, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine from work, and they were telling me, Hannah, when you reach outside here in the working community, you find you have not met your best friends for like a whole year, and you're all there, like you can't have no time to meet each other, like, and you're asking yourself like, what happened? What happened?
does it really have to be that way? You know, sometimes we convince ourselves that, you know, yes, we are busy, A, B, C, D.
But then someone blasted me sometime that Hannah, stop acting like you're busy and create time. Yeah,
I know it can be. It can be a heavy attack on you, on your personality. But it's also good to step out sometimes and talk to people face to face. And on top of, you know, as you're using the algorithm and you probably decide to look at posts of people who disagree with you, you also need to talk to people and find a little bit of disagreement. Because sometimes if we are put in this world where everything agrees with us, honestly, we are going to be in very, very serious trouble.
It will be like robots.
My God. So now at that point in time when you know, it's not easy to deal with being disagreed with. My experience one time, you know, I follow all these people, these how do I call it, these mentors and gurus and finance masters and everything. Now somebody who knows that I do that sent me a video of the rise of fake gurus. Now at first when she told me about it, I was thinking, man, this might just be, you know, it must have come been made by some haters, things like that, ABCD. But then ideally I was also thinking to myself, I'm about to make a video about how you shouldn't be stuck in a filter bubble, echo chamber, how you should listen to things that disagree with you. Exactly. So you fight with yourself a little bit and you go and watch the videos, and my God, those videos were horrifying. To see how certain gurus, they didn't directly attack some of the ones who I know are the ones I follow who I believe are authentic, but they also went for some people who basically copy that model, get some small truth and add some falsehoods and intensify the falsehoods. So you suddenly realize that, you know, there was a little bit of an attack on the law of attraction, the whole thing of, you know, you can believe and things will move. Actually, there was even an attack on Napoleon Hill, and I was thinking, oh my God, the mentorship class, woo! Like, okay, sitting down and being disagreed with in a very heavy and fundamental way got me thinking that, okay, it's very uncomfortable, but if I did not know this, if I did not listen to this, I wouldn't be a better person. Haven't you had the chance and time to see, let's say, posts that you disagree with or be disagreed with by friends?
Because normally I follow a lot of Christian content because I go on a Christian radio, so I have to keep like up to date to stuff. I know there's some of these artists who we look up to and whose music we play like non-stop. People are listening for their music. So I did land on a video that was doing backlash on some of these so-called, some of the preachers that we listen to, and you know, it's telling you all this nasty stuff and you know how they are fake. I don't even know how true that is. But I took a step to like actually watch and listen and hear what other people have to say about these different artists, gospel artists and musicians. But at the end of the day, I still feel like those videos, they were too intensified. They were, I don't know what's real or what's not real anymore because after watching that video,
you can doubt.
You doubt everyone. But
well, which also goes to always show us, especially as Christians, that, you know, we are all human. In case some of these things are true, then there are things that we need to keep working on. Even if, you know, we've reached the level of preacher, all those things. But yes, in fact, there was another interesting meme that went on to say that, you know, some papers, some course units you do here in campus may make you doubt your intelligence. Then someone was like, forget that, your existence. Like Christ. So let the internet not be your only source. Go out, move out, talk to people, get a view of what they think. In fact, actually, another person I follow, Thomas Frank, once said that you know, if you want to meet some of the people that you realize you're not able to meet, sometimes asking them to meet up one-on-one, they may easily put that on a list that is going to, you know, always you're going to go very far down on the list. So you advise that, you know, call a group thing, and some people will feel some FOMO, and they'll come. Eventually, it won't be like a success from the very beginning, because at least I know Hannah, you're very good at this mobilization thing. For me to get the courage to start telling people, you know, come for what? We are consoling ourselves, you know, we are fighting for financial freedom, so that when we get it, that's when we can finance the thing. But then there's also calling people and they don't come.
That is the worst. kind of feeling.
Wow.
And that is why if people invite me for something personally, I always try my level best to attend, or at least inform them in advance. Yeah, don't just go astray. Don't just like disappear out of the blue. Yeah, we are communicating. Communication is key, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can cause isolation if the internet is your only source of information, ABCD. But then probably the last and most fundamental thing that even kept me up at night is something I've always been thinking about as well, but also that was highlighted these days in most of Gary Vee's new content. You know, most of the time I used to follow him, it was business related stuff, you know, content creation stuff. But these days he's talking about the human principles that we need not only in life but also in business. And one of the things he says is that he realized there's so much negativity on the internet. You remember social media, how we talked about people want to be, you know, they are attracted
to negativity,
but guess what,
they want positive information.
They want to be associated with positive things. So it's paradoxical, but for him, he said now it's a mission for him in particular to come and to overwhelm the world with niceness, to bring, like, you know, obviously the odds are against the positive content,
yes.
But ideally if the numbers keep growing, or people, you know, putting out all this content that is positive, constructive, even if some people corrupt it at a certain point, we know that one thing we need to do to make the algorithm work for us is also to put out more content there on things that are positive, just like this, just like how starting out and the bottom of it too, because we know negativity has built up because there are also enough people supplying the internet. If we have an overwhelming amount of positive content as well, somewhere, somehow it will seep through those filter bubbles, it will seep through those echo chambers, because we have made an effort, we have banded together as humanity, something that we've always been doing over so many years, to make sure that positive content comes out to this world.
Overwhelm the world with niceness.
So much, like wow. There's actually a Bible verse for that. The part where he says, where they say, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And you're like, when I read that when I was young, I was like, we grow. But of course, when you're alone, you can be caved in after some time. I'm so happy that I've been able to be in circles with people like Hannah. And fellowships that we have, you know, the different people I keep meeting. The learning club, we'll have a video about that soon. You know, the mentorship class, KSK, all these environments kind of give you a feeling that, you know, we can actually come together and do something good for this world, fallen as it looks, really. Yeah.
And at least if we can't, because I do believe there's a lot of negativity over positivity on the internet. But if we can't overcome it, at least we can have a bit of an equal, like a battleground. Yeah, at least there is some equality. Yeah, at least 50% negative, 50% 50% negative, 50% positive. Unlike how it is 80% negative and 20%.
They are struggling to even find it at certain points in time, because even the negative seeps through the positive. So why can't the positive seep through the negative? Now that has been our collab. It has been Hannah and Sam. It has been the bottom of it, and starting out, this project meant a whole lot to the both of us, and we believe that it is going to have an amazing impact on both our communities. We look forward to having it again sometime, but this has been it, really. Any parting words for the amazing audience?
Well, I think the thing I'm going to the thing that has really captured me is the fact that we have to overwhelm this world with a lot of niceness, because it doesn't cost you to be nice. It doesn't. And there's too much negativity in this world, so the more kindness and niceness in the world would do us a whole lot of good.
And genuine niceness, by the way.
Yes,
you know?
not just
Well, I think I've just remembered the thing of the 49 laws of power. It goes to show that human beings tend to be so manipulative, and that's something.
I'm kind to you unless you for a specific reason.
You know?
It's not genuine.
So generally, you know, you see when he talks about all those things, it's also hard for me to listen to that human beings are so dark and manipulative. You know, 49 laws of power, he even talks about, there's another book all about human character. I need to remember the writer of those books, but generally he shows the darkest parts of humanity. And yes, you have to remember that that is part of you. You have to recognize it and then see, okay, he says actually on a podcast with Tom Billy, he said, we are not human, but we are in the process of being human, becoming human. Yeah. So yes, now as we overwhelm in the world with niceness, we should work also on making it as genuine as possible. The definition of that, we'll get to keep understanding, the whole thing where you don't expect, where you also want genuinely something good for the person on the other side, whatever, a win-win
situation.
So guys, wow. Wow, it has been a ride. See you all guys soon. This has been starting out on the bottom of it. Love you so much. See you on our next videos, guys. Bye bye.